Gospel musician Mahalia recently got married. If you don't know Mahalia, she is the singer affiliated with Joyus Celebration. We know her from Joyus Celebration. I think is she the one who sang Frofan Samaria? I think. I think that is the first place where I remember her from. Frofan Samaria. Hey, it's Afrikaans. Do you even remember the words? Me, at least I tried. Something. Yeah, she recently got married, and I saw this beautiful scene of marriage and whatnot. They were walking on something that looked like it was water. It was happening over there. It was happening. And so it reminded me of not only the beauty of marriage, but the beauty of being reunited with the Messiah, because that's how the Bible speaks about the end of our story. Like, not only did it remind me of that, it reminded me of two pastors that got married very recently, which is Chris from TB Joshua's church, and also Racine from TB Joshua's church. These guys were with TB Joshua for over 20 years, and finally, after he passed, then they got married, right? So, it reminded me of these two guys with a certain perception. So you see the beauty from Mahalia's wedding, right? And then you see the beauty out of Chris' wedding. He posted the video. It's now it's live. You can see. I think he posted it on YouTube or something. But I did watch it. Very beautiful, amazing stuff. It was, wow. You see it and you're like, wow. But then it reminded me of Racine's marriage. And the marriage looked nice, but it was kept mystery, The wedding or the marriage. We were so excited. Everybody approached it with such excitement. It happened. We got two pictures. We were sent two pictures. And it reminded me of something that I wanted to say in that video that I didn't. And I thought it was important. Let me bring back the subject when I remembered this video. This beauty, you have something so beautiful as a marriage and a wedding and all these things, and you just tease at it. And then they keep it secret. I don't know did anybody see the video? There was small little here, there, but they kept it in such a secrecy, or they kept it in such exclusivity, that it wasn't just the exclusivity. It kind of spoke to their perception of their thing. Because they might have seen a life that they lived with TB Joshua, it might give them this perception of mystery. They want everything to be mystery and whatnot. And because of this mystery, and it goes with how they teach as well, how Racine and Ruth teach, it's just always mystery. And personally, I think marriage is one of the things that we actually share with people, we share with the world, because of the beauty that comes out of it. And not the glamour, the beauty of marriage. Union, the beauty of union. But even in ministry, if a pastor portrays his life with mystery, with exclusivity, and you know what I'm talking about, I feel it steals that message of the glory. Because remember, in this act, while the act is about me and you, the act communicates the gospel at the end of the day. The act of marriage speaks reconciliation with God. We are reconciling Adam and Eve. We are reconciling the original that God had back in the garden. That's what we're communicating in marriage. That's what people, the world, sees or should see in marriage when we are engaging in our marital duties. As we are speaking forgiveness towards each other, as we are growing a family and assisting in society together in that space, in that marriage, you see, we are communicating what it's like when a person is reconciled with God, and not only reconciled with God, but the reconciliation then leads to them being something in society. It communicates that. Within the husband and wife marriage, the world should see that, should see how God is glorified in the... So it reminded me of that thought. How Racine and Ruth showed their marriage. And I'm not trying to bash things, no, just sharing my thoughts around it. When they did that, you would have remembered in less than a day of them being married, nobody was even talking about it. Right? There was the hype of, why didn't they get married before? There was the whole conversation, but the beauty of their marriage just became thingy. Why? Because they treated it with this mystery, this thing. And I see it a lot with a lot of pastors. They treat their life as a mystery to such a point that people can only see them as mysterious. And I think it is worth something sharing when a pastor shares his life with his fellow church members. Because this idea of people seeing you as mystery and your life as mystery and whatnot, it creates a very bad communication. But not only does it create a bad communication, this is where people start feeling like you are Papa. You know that entire title and whatnot. And they start treating you a certain way. It's because of that perception. You see it in the church of Alf Lukau. You see that communicated well because they don't perceive him as a normal man. He is anointed, but he's not normally anointed. His anointing is mightier. You've heard in videos that we've made about that subject. And so what I'm communicating is a real problem. When a pastor treats his life as a mystery and he doesn't recognize himself as just a servant, as just a church member, as just another brother to be fellowshipped with, he creates this scene. I once saw this other church. It's always fascinating when you go to when you see a church and they have these fancy chairs in front for the pastor and the wife, right? I saw a church, I think they are under ECG. Wow. They literally went to all these fancy shops and bought couches, proper couches. They didn't buy those fancy king and queen chairs. No, they bought couches, a comfortable house couch. And they were sitting there comfortably, and the church members were in plastic chairs there. And not to bash thingy, I think if you're uncomfortable with thingy, just carry a cushion, right? But there comes to this point where there is a distance between you and the people. And you see it in ECG. There's all these people that come in. When they come in, to show that the pastor is not even, it's like the pastor is not a church member, man. They enter, they're given a red carpet. They have 20 people covering them so that people don't get to them. When they enter the church, they're treated with, even if the church is the smallest, just follow ACG churches, you'll see what I'm talking about. So there's this exclusivity that they are treated with, to a point where people cannot help but see them in a certain tone. And I think it sends a bad message. I've said that before, I'll repeat it here. Now, someone will be asking, Rick, how did we go from talking about the beauty of marriage into now talking about church leadership? You see, marriage leads society. Marriage is the foundation of society, of community. When we see an aspect of communities built around households, for instance, you might be from a village where there is that one family everybody makes a good reference about. Even if there's bad things in that household is upheld. Its moral perception in that household. It's on point. We all know families like that. Christian families lead like that. When they treat themselves with exclusivity and what, everyone is suspicious, everyone is a witch, everyone is what ends up happening, it creates a Christian who doesn't interact with society, who doesn't interact with the world. How do you evangelize? The day you decide to evangelize, the community doesn't even know you. You come in every single day, you are at church for prayer in the morning, you are thinking, and you guys are having a picnic. Your church is such a community, it excludes everyone else. To a point where the part of faith is dead by James, which is actually talking about your involvement in community, it's non-existent. And they're the very people that feel like faith is dead, it's addressing salvation. Can't you know, it's addressing exactly what you are. You treat your life with mystery. And I thought this was such a beautiful thing to communicate, to remind people how you treat yourself communicates the gospel.